For those of you who have been around since trial number 1, do you remember her? I remember her testifying in trial number 1.
I'm certain you would have noted if there was skin or biological material or obvious blood on glass pieces.
Yes, I would have made note of observations.
And you failed to do so because there weren't any. Buchanan was associated with that evidence collection. That is crucial because Buchanan and Proctor working in tandem to muddy the waters and fabricate an alternative killer, Karen Reed, namely.
Did not match the cut, did not match anything in 712, did not match anything in 714.
That's correct.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up. It's the Law with attorney Larry Foreman. Folks, today we are going to cover Christina Hanley, Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory. She testified a few days ago in the Karen Reed trial, I think just before we took our break. So folks, this is fresh content, and I want to see what she has to say in comparison to Maureen Hartnett, who, as you may recall, if you have not seen that video, go check it out. It is amazing. She was flipped by the defense. Alessi flipped her in the middle of the trial. She went from being a prosecution witness to a defense witness. How? You're going to have to watch the video to find that out. So, without further ado, I bring you Christina Hanley, Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory. Let's go. And very briefly, we're going to do about 10 minutes of Lally to kind of set the stage, and then 20 minutes of Jackson cross-examination. Buckle up, folks.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
I'm Christina Hanley.
And Ms. Hanley, what do you do for work?
I am a forensic scientist 3 at the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory in the Trace Arson and Explosives Unit.
At some point, were you assigned to perform some work on a lab case number 22-02184 pertaining to this defendant, Karen Reed?
Yes, I was. So I was given items for physical match comparison of some glass items, as well as some instrumental analysis of the glass. And I was also given items for some items of plastic for comparison. So that is a photograph that I took upon examination. It is the clear glass cup item 3-2, and I'm holding another piece, which again, I believe it's one of the pieces from item 7-12. I would need to confirm in my file, but I'm showing that one of the pieces physically fits with item 3-2. So this is the photo that I took of item 7-12 as I received it. So there's the several pieces of clear glass with broken irregular edges.
For those of you who have been around since trial number 1, do you remember her? I remember her testifying in trial number 1. Essentially the same testimony, but we got to set the stage for those of you who may have not heard her testimony yet. And by the way, let me know in the comments below if you trust her and if you find her trustworthy. I'm curious what people are thinking. And as you're scrolling down, don't forget to like this video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you get more of this content. All right, let's go.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have 9477.
So those are the same pieces of glass as in the previous photo, just a little bit more up close of the clear glass that was recovered and is item 7-12.
What, if any, conclusions did you make in reference to your comparison between those two items?
Sure. So upon comparing those items, I did note that 6 of the 9 pieces of clear apparent glass had a physical match to item 3-2, the clear glass cup.
And if you could just remind the jury, as far as the physical match, what does that mean?
So a physical match is basically if an item breaks and those items have broken irregular edges, if those those pieces come back together like a jigsaw fit, then it's a physical match, and they were at one time together as one larger unit.
Now, as far as each of those items within 7-12 had a letter associated with them, correct?
Yes.
And do you recall which of the 6 were a physical match for item 3-2, the glass?
I would just need to refer to my notes for the exact letters.
Sure, you can take your report out.
The 6 pieces of glass from item 7-12 that physically fit to item 3-2 were A, B, C, D, F, and K.
May I approach, Your Honor? Yes. Well, let me ask you this first, I'm sorry. So, Ms. Hanley, during the course of this physical match analysis that you're conducting, are you memorializing that process with photographs as well?
Yes, I am. So this is one of the photos that I took of one of the breaks that physically fit together between item 3-2 and item 7-12.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have 9514. And again, Ms. Hanley, can you please describe for the jury what we're looking at in this photograph?
Sure. So this is a photo that I took when I was doing my comparison of item 3-2 and several pieces from item 7-12.
Now, as far as the individual pieces had sort of little white stickers or labels affixed to them, is that correct?
It's like puzzles, only for professional adults. It's kind of interesting.
Yes.
Is that something that you did, or is that something that when the items were provided to you was already done?
So item 7-12, I received those pieces with the labels already on them.
And again, those items, especially 7-12, had been with mixed veneer in your unit prior to coming to your table or your station, correct?
Yes. So this is another photograph that I took of the physical match. It's just another view of the items together of item 3-2 and several pieces from item 7-12. So this is another picture that I took of the items just slightly rotated of item 3-2 with a physical fit to several items or several pieces from item 7-12. This is a photo of the 5 total pieces that are from item 3-3. This is the photo that I took of item 7-14.
Did you also compare pieces from item 3-2, 7-12, and 7-14?
Yes, I did.
And what did you conclude in your physical match analysis of those items together?
So upon examining and comparing item 3-2, 7-12, and 7-14, I had concluded that 6 of the 9 pieces of glass from 7-12 physically fit with item 3-2, and the remaining 3 of the 9 from 7-12 did not have a physical fit to item 3-2. I also compared item 3-2 and 7-12 to 7-14, but there was no physical match to item 7-14.
Now, in addition to that, did you also do a physical match analysis between item 3-2, the drinking glass, 7-12, pieces found from the roadway, and certain pieces from 3-3 from the bumper of the vehicle?
Yes, I did.
And what did you conclude based on that physical match analysis between those items?
So upon examining and comparing those items, so there were 5 total pieces of glass from item 3-3. I used 2 of those pieces for physical match comparison to the items recovered from the road. Upon my examination, I did not, there was no physical match between those two pieces from item 3-3 to any of the pieces recovered from the road. So that included items 3-2, 7-12, and 7-14.
Remember, folks, we are setting the stage, so don't turn that dial, because trust me, it is about to go down.
Now, as far as the two pieces that you had selected from item 3-3, do you recall which of those two lettered pieces you chose for your comparative analysis?
Yes,
And which were they?
they were pieces A and B.
And if I could ask why pieces A and B versus other pieces?
So A and B were used for physical match. The remaining 3 of the 5 were not used for physical match comparison due to their size and condition.
Now, those same two pieces from item 3-3, pieces A and B, did you then do a physical match analysis between that and 7-14?
I did.
And what did you conclude from that analysis?
I concluded that there was no physical match between the two pieces from item 3-3 to item 7-14.
Now, did you also do a physical match analysis between piece E from item 3-3 from the bumper?
I did not. No, I'm not a physical match examination. This is the photo that I took of item 3-1.
And what's contained in here, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of what the item 3-1, the taillight housing, looked like when you received it?
Yes. So this is one of the photos that I took of 7-18.18. This is how I received the clear piece of plastic. So this is a photo of the clear piece of plastic that was within that tin. This is the photo that I took of the debris that was collected from the clothing items. This is a photo that I took under a microscope of the red plastic pieces that I noted within the debris. This is a picture that I took of the red plastic pieces that I removed from the debris.
Good afternoon, Ms. Hanley.
Here we
Good
go.
afternoon.
Nice to see you again. We met about a year ago.
Uh-huh.
First of all, you indicated that you were doing a comparative analysis in different, sort of different categorical ways, using microscopy, using the microspec, using the FTIR. I think you also use the FTIR in that as well.
Yes.
And you indicated that your analysis concluded with those pieces could have come from the same source, from the source in 3-1, the taillight, but you're not conclusively saying they did, correct?
It could have come from, they could have a common origin, or it could have come from another source with the same characteristics.
Right. So in other words, another way to say that, Ms. Hanley, is it may have come from the taillight, may not have.
It's a possibility.
Okay. I also want to ask you real quick about the taillight manufacturer. You were shown an exhibit, I think it's exhibit 200, and I think we have that available. With the court's permission, we don't have to cut the lights. I think the lighting is just fine. This is exhibit, or a photograph of exhibit 200 that you saw just a second ago. Quick question about that. In your inspection of that taillight, it's true, is it not, that is manufactured entirely of plastic or plasticine pieces. There is no glass in that taillight, correct?
I have to check my notes. I don't think I noted any glass.
Okay. So in other words, you didn't note any glass inherent in the manufacture of that taillight. It's basically plastic.
She's hesitating.
Yeah, I think most of the parts were plastic. I'm not 100% sure if the entire thing was plastic. There may have been other material, but
I mean, the light bulb
portions were plastic.
would be
But you
glass.
certainly didn't see any glass inherent in the manufacture process.
I'd have to double check my notes, but I don't think I did.
Okay.
Do you want her to check her notes?
Why don't you?
Sun's the
Are
light
your
bulb.
notes in front of you?
I don't think
Yes.
there's
With
going
the
to be any
court's
glass in there.
Sure.
Okay, so I did not make any notation that I noted portions that were glass.
Great. Final point before we get into the actual analysis. On any of the glass, I want to shift gears to just the glass material that you analyzed and that you looked at and you inspected. You saw no blood, no skin, no biological material, no tissue, human tissue or otherwise, on any of those pieces that you inspected, did you?
Upon examination of those items,
No. The answer is no.
that making observations of those types of material, that's not my area of expertise.
What?
I didn't. I don't think I noted anything.
Just spit it out, woman.
That was
No, the answer is no.
consistent with that.
There you go.
So in other words, even though you're not in the bio material expert section of the lab, you certainly would have noted if there was skin or biological material, obvious blood on glass pieces. You were looking at them in many cases through a stereo microscope, correct?
Yes, I would have made note of observations
And you failed to do so because there weren't any.
of anything that I would have noted on the surface.
Right.
Great. And you did not,
Yeah.
because you didn't see anything
Right.
suggesting it.
Yeah.
I think I just made note. I'm gonna have to check each item, but I think I did note that there was some dirt debris on some of the
Dirt
items.
debris.
Not biological.
Not biological material.
I did not note anything that
Oh
would
my
be
God.
maybe consistent.
Just
with
get it
that.
out.
Great. Thank you. I want to talk about
Ugh.
the comparisons that you did. And you'll forgive me, I'm a visual learner. So I'd like to talk about it in 4 categories. Linear categories. Category 1, item 3-2. Category 2, item 3-3. Category 3, item 7-12. Category 4, item 7-14. 3-2, 3-3, 7-12, 7-14. Can we talk about it in those particulars?
Sure.
Okay. 3-2 was the cup, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And I'm going to use the word cup rather than glass for obvious reasons. You could get confused by that. So when I say the cup, do you know what I'm talking about?
Item 3-2.
Great. 3-3 are the 5 items that were found on the bumper, claimed to have been found on the bumper by MSP for the crime lab. Okay?
Yes.
5 items, A, B, C, D, and E, correct?
Correct.
Item 7-12 are 9 items, glass items, that were recovered at 34 Fairview by Trooper Buchanan in an evidence envelope, correct?
So sustained as to who they were recovered from.
Sure. Did you receive the items along with an evidence envelope?
I need to double check if it was an envelope, but I received it packaged.
Okay. And the packaging normally, in normal circumstances, the packaging comes with labels that gives you reference about where things came from. For instance, when Mr. Lally asked you, were you aware or did you become aware that items were claimed to have been found on the bumper? You didn't actually find those items, but that was the description you were given, correct?
That was the description of the item in our limb system.
Okay. And going back to 7-12, that's our 3rd category, was that described as 9 pieces of glass that were found at 34 Fairview by a sergeant by the name of Buchanan? Or do you recall that?
I am not sure who recovered them.
Or what it said on the evidence envelope? That's what I'm asking.
I would have to check my photos to see if it says that.
We'll get to that in just a second, but fair enough. 7-12, 9 items, A, B, C, D, E, and if my memory serves, I, K, and L.
I'd have to refer to my notes to,
Can you please?
yes. So the 9 pieces of glass from 7-12 were labeled A, B, C, D, E, F, I, K, and L.
Great. And then finally, what was in 714, that's an easy one piece of glass.
That's correct.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
If I could, Ms. Hanley, I'm going to hand you photographs. That should be two photographs of the exact same thing. Do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph?
I've never seen. I did not take this photo.
Understood.
So I'm not. I haven't seen them, so I don't know.
So I'm asking you to look. I know you haven't seen that photo. Does it look like the cup?
It looks consistent with the cup.
Okay.
What is he getting at?
Take a look at the second photo. Do you recognize what's depicted in that photo?
So I did not take this photo. It appears to be a photo of a container that another analyst took a photo of item 7-12.
And item 7-12 once again included plastic pieces. And
Maureen
nine
Hartnett,
plastics,
maybe?
correct?
I don't know.
Correct.
Do you see the evidence label on the very top of that evidence envelope?
I'm not sure which label you're talking about.
The one
Oh,
under the red tape.
yes.
Does that appear to be a label marker that's done to maintain chain of custody?
So I think that label.
Come on. You got this, Christine. Come on. Come on. Come on, girl.
Sorry.
Sure, can we bring these over to the
Sure.
Jurors, sometimes we're at sidebar in an effort to try and speed things up. So even though we take your time that way, this should make things move a little easier.
Ms. Hanley, I was asking you previously, we already looked at what's been marked for identification as triple G. I was asking you about what has now been marked as triple H. If you'll just look at that, what I'm most interested in is, do you see a name, a trooper's name, in the middle of that evidence bag?
Michael Proctor.
Yes, I do.
Is that Buchanan?
Oh, Buchanan.
It looks like it says that. Yeah.
Okay, and just so we're clear, that bag is associated with 7-12 of your analysis. The item 7-12, correct?
Yes. Again, I didn't take this photo, but I have. Yeah.
I realize that. It says 7-12
Yeah.
right on the photo. doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
That's all I need.
Buchanan was responsible for
What's been marked as
7-12.
triple I for identification.
That's all he's doing.
You
He's
see a name
he's
associated
showing the
with
jury that Buchanan was associated with that evidence collection. That is crucial because Buchanan and Proctor working in tandem to muddy the waters and fabricate an alternative killer, Karen Reed, namely, is what Jackson is pointing out right now.
That evidence bag.
Yes.
What name is that?
It's actually a little hard to read. It looks like it could say Trooper Proctor.
Okay, and that is associated with 7-14, our fourth category, correct?
It is labeled as, excuse me, 7-14.
Thank you. And finally, does that...
And by the way, for those of you who may not know this, because I was today years old when I discovered this, as a matter of fact, and this is being recorded and will be published on May 29th, 2025. Brian Walsh, another murder case in Massachusetts where Proctor has been the lead investigator, is going to trial in October. October 20th, as a matter of fact, is when it's scheduled now, assuming it goes. People have asked me if I'm going to be covering it, and I might. I mean, I don't know what's going to be happening. Koberger will probably be over by then. Diddy will definitely be over by then. I'm just curious. I'm curious to see what you guys think. If you want me to cover it, if you don't want me to cover it, if you're interested in it, if you're not interested in it. I'll eventually probably make like a community post asking the same like I do with all my other stuff. It's just right now I'm publishing 3 videos a day, so I can't really make any posts. But we are very, very close to not only wrapping up this trial, but catching up on all of the videos I have in my vault. For those of you who have been following the channel for a while, you know that I released Brian Albert parts 1 and 2 yesterday. I still have about 6 more remaining, and then we're going to be completely caught up with trial number 1. And of course, we're going to finish up with trial number 2. I still have one more video today. We're going to have 3 witnesses in one. I think it's Bradford, Valier, and one more. We're just lumping them together because they're so short and irrelevant. I just want to get you guys the, as I like to say, the tachlis, the meat, and carving out all the fat, all the garnish, just the meat, to save you guys time. For those of you who don't have 7 hours every day to watch the trial. So let's get back to the video.
Which has been marked as, for identification at least, as triple J.
Don't forget to subscribe.
That appear to be the contents of that bag, which is a single piece of glass in 7-14.
This appears to be the photo that the analyst prior to me took of item 7-14.
And that would be analyst Valier.
Correct.
You see her initials there.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So the 4 categories, just so we're clear and we can stop using so many numbers because they can get confusing. 3-2 is the cup, right?
Yes.
3-3 is the bumper glass, correct?
That is correct.
7-12 is the
Oh, and before I forget, over the next few days, you're going to see some paywall Diddy videos, so be on the lookout for those. And I'm making some Diddy shorts too, but those are not going to be behind the paywall.
glass, correct? You just looked at it,
Yes.
okay? 7-14 is the Proctor glass, the single piece, correct?
Correct.
So when I make reference to those items by those names, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yes.
Hesitant.
No, I just, I'm just used to referring to them to the item numbers, but I will try to stay with you.
My brain will melt if we continue that way.
Can she do it both, Mr. Jackson?
Sure. Any way that you wish. I have another document that I would like to approach with, if I could, with the court's permission.
Okay.
Thank you. I'd like you to take a look at that. You've got a copy of this. Have you ever seen that before, or a variation of it?
Yes.
Okay. Saw it last year, correct? Or something close to it last year?
Yeah, it looks consistent.
Okay.
I'm sorry, may we approach on this?
Okay. If there are any others, Mr. Jackson, why don't we bring all the...
This is it. Ms. Hanley, if I could ask you very briefly, I want to go through this chalk with you for a moment. Do you recognize something on the left, looking at the first category? Do you see 3-2?
Yes.
How is that described?
It's described as a cup.
Okay, and you see that there's a photographic representation of the cup just above it, correct?
It looks consistent with,
Okay. Moving to the second category. What category is that?
it's item 3-3.
And 3-3, first of all, there's a photograph above it. Do you see that?
Yes.
It appears to be of a bumper, correct?
Yes.
You didn't take that picture.
I did not.
Okay, let's look down beneath it. You indicated that there were 5 items in 3-3, A, B, C, D, and E, correct?
Correct.
Do you see A, B, C, D, and E represented in that category on this chalk?
I do see A, B, C, D, E categorized, yes.
Great. Under A, you previously testified that the bumper glass sub A in 3-3 did not match the cup, correct?
That's correct.
Did not match anything in 7-12?
Sorry, just give me one moment. That's correct.
And did not match anything in 7-14?
That's correct.
And you see those represented by sort of the international symbol for negative, correct? A circle with a line through it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Under subcategory B, glass B, or item 3-3B, did not match the cup, did not match 7-12, did not match 7-14.
That's
Is
correct.
that accurately represented on the chart?
Yes.
Finally, with regard to E as an echo in that same item, 3-3, you see that there is a green indication that glass recovered by Proctor does match, or did match in your analysis, or was consistent with the item in 7-14, correct?
It was consistent microscopically and instrumentally.
Does that accurately reflect that finding on this chalk?
Yes.
Okay, now turning to category 3. There were 9 pieces of glass that you looked at, correct?
Correct.
A through F, I, K, and L. Is that right?
If I could just reference my report to make sure.
Of course.
Yes, those are the correct letters.
And A, B, C, D, F, and K all matched the cup, correct?
Again, I would just need to confirm with my report.
Take your time.
Yes, so A, B, C, D, F, and K
All matched the cup.
had a physical match to 3-2, the cup.
Is that accurately represented on this chart? With green.
Yes.
And E is an echo, I is in India, and I think that's L is in Lima, did not match the cup, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, is that accurately represented on this chart?
Yes.
And finally, the last category, 7-14, that is the single piece of glass that was recovered by Trooper Proctor. That did not match the cup, and it did not match anything in 7-12, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that accurately represented on the chart?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would move for the admission. Ms. Hanley, you see the
Okay, here we
chalk
go.
or actually, what's
So for the last 27 minutes and 27 seconds of actual video that I have been watching along with you all, along with my commentary, probably will turn this into like a 31 maybe minute video so far, since if you've noticed, my commentary has been fairly limited. Right here is the moment where it all goes down. Jackson has been setting it up for about 18 minutes of our actual watch time. Obviously, in real time, it probably took over an hour because they had all these bench conferences and yada sidebars, you know, like all of that junk. Here is the last 3 minutes of testimony, and now Jackson is ready to unleash the beast. Let's watch him unleash said beast.
been marked as Exhibit 205 in evidence on the screen?
Yes.
Is that consistent with what you and I were just talking about at the witness stand?
Yes.
If you'll direct your attention to the screen on the right, just because it's a little easier and I think the laser pointer shows up a little better. You see the 4 categories represented in this exhibit?
Yes.
Okay, so 3-2, I'm going to go over it very quickly one more time, just visually. 3-2 on the left is the cup, correct?
Yes.
3-3 represents the 5 pieces of glass of what we call the bumper glass, A, B, C, D, and E, correct?
Yes.
7-12 is the 9 pieces of glass recovered by Trooper Buchanan at 34 Fairview, correct?
Yes.
And finally, 7-14 is the single piece of glass recovered by Trooper Proctor, correct?
Yes.
Taking these one by one, just so everybody see? Taking these one by one, looking at starting with the bumper glass, category 2. Piece A did not match the cup, anything in 7-12 or anything in 7-14, correct?
That's correct.
Piece B did not match the cup, did not match anything in 7-12, did not match anything in 7-14, correct?
That's correct.
And moving over to category 3, there were some matches in these 9 items, 6 of them, A, B, C, D, F, and K, correct?
Yes.
But what those matched, Ms. Hanley, were the cup, nothing on the bumper, correct?
Correct.
And
Oh.
what didn't match the cup were E, I, and L. Is that right?
That's correct.
Moving back to category 2, however, there was one thing item E, that did match something in this series of categories. Isn't that right?
Not a physical match, but instrumentally there was consistency.
All right. And this is an item, the only piece of bumper glass, the only piece of bumper glass to match anything else in your analysis. Matched what? Or was consistent with what?
Item 3-3, piece E, was consistent in physical and instrumental properties with the sample that I took from item 7-14.
Which is the single piece of glass recovered by Michael Proctor, correct?
Yes.
But not a single piece of glass, nothing that you analyzed coming from that bumper matched the cup. Did it? Nothing.
No.
Physical match comparison. There was no physical match comparison
Oh!
to the cup.
Your Honor, that's all I have. Thank you.
Why is that important? If she hit him with her car and broke the glass in the process, there would be pieces of glass on the bumper. Because they kept setting it up, if you remember, with, I think it was Maureen Hartnett, who was like, oh yeah, there was glass. Glass on the bumper. Oh, the glass on the bumper. The glass that didn't move. The glass that survived like a 60-mile trip. That glass, right? Allegedly. Of course, it didn't. It was probably from the little light bulb inside the rear taillight. If I were a betting man, I could be wrong. I don't know. I wasn't there when Michael Proctor and Yuri Buchanan broke that taillight and ripped it apart in Canton Police Department. However, what I do know, and as Christina Hanley has just confirmed, and we're done with her. We're done here, as David Yannetti would say. We're done with her. She has nothing more to offer. She just confirmed that no pieces of glass from the cup were found on the bumper. That's it. No connection. How could a glass shatter and all the pieces just neatly fall unless somebody planted them there? Oh, magical. A very long setup for a very, I don't want to call it anticlimactic, because to me this was very powerful, but it's dry, so there wasn't like a gotcha moment that is so obvious unless you point it out. And there you have it, folks. So hopefully you learned something, hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you all this evening. Bye, everybody.